Hey, welcome back to Dank Sweeters.
Hello.
Alright, you think you gotta go across the bridge. I don't remember where the fuck we were.
I'm just trying to remember how to play.
Trying to remember how to play?
Yeah.
Has it really been that long?
It feels like it.
Okay, so I got a bunch of fucking memes to share with you. I've been waiting all fucking week for this shit.
Memes?
So,
like actual, or you got stories?
I got stories. I sent you something on Facebook and I said, do not open this until we record. Do you remember that?
Nope.
Awesome. So, you told me about the fucking radishes and I'm furious about that. But, okay, let's go to the Reddit post I shared with you, my friend. Okay. You gotta touch it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
trying to. Okay, I gotta touch it, jump down there, climb
Okay.
up, go that way, I guess.
It's titled, Time I Fucked Up by Battling a Nest of New York City Sewer Roaches. Not safe for work language.
Fuck.
Like that, yeah. I'm finally past this enough to write about it. I've been rattled by it for days, and I don't rattle very easily. This will be very long, and I apologize in advance. Preface. I'm renovating an old brownstone in Brooklyn. These are row houses, all connected in a common and old as the city sewer system. Earlier this week, I decided to try to shore up a vertical selection that had sagged and broken, and some of the retention straps that reinforced it. Luckily, this was on a branch of plumbing that we weren't using, but still, I'd be bringing in a plumber to do the actual filament work, but this, I felt, couldn't wait, as it was an absurdly large cast iron stack weighing hundreds of pounds, about an 8-inch thick pipe out to the street, which is about double what is really needed for residential. So let's paint the scene. I'm wearing a cheapo LED headlamp, which is at best pretty dim, 20 to 30 lumens tops. The basement is very dark and shadowy, with a few
Grab the ledge!
bulbs. With a few bulbs off in the main part of the basement, and that's it. This pipe is coming down from several floors above and is the darkest corner of the basement. I had been noticing some quote-unquote water bugs, a polite name for large flatfish American cockroach that often inhabit basements. Different from the brown German roach that will invade your cabinets, but no less gross. Now, to keep things in context, some, to me, at this point, was more than one alive at a time. So, several is a more accurate description. Nothing infestation level, though. Several. A few. A handful. Given the age of the house and how long it had been empty, not unexpected. I hate bugs, by the way. I've broken bones, had wounds deep enough to require multiple layers of stitches, was hit with gut-wrenching realization that human flesh smells like hot dogs when cooked, by unknowingly grabbing a freshly welded piece of metal. I'd rather not go through any of that again, but I'd rather go through any of that again than have a bug of significant size crawls across me. My irrational fear here may explain some poor decision-making you're about to read. So anyway, as I start attaching the retaining strap to the lowest portion of the cast iron pipe stack, I hear it. I'm not aware what I'm hearing, but I'm hearing fucking something. But we'll get to that in a minute. I'm crouched inches away from the stack, about to stand up, so I can bear hug this thing into place and relieve the strain it's been putting on the support brace and other straps. Ever play a horror video game where you have a flashlight as your main or only source of light? How you have to scan slowly with only a small field of illuminated vision? That's my lighting situation down here, in this fucking corner. There I am, face about a foot away from this pipe, with a small cone of light as my only sight line. As I raise my head upward, revealing a small portion of the pipe that, at the time, something is off about what I'm seeing. My brain isn't putting it together, so I adjust the headlamp a bit and lean in a bit closer. Looking up along the length of this pipe, pitch black becomes suddenly illuminated in a slow reveal as I sweep my light across the source. That's when I realize I'm seeing shadows. Time itself fucking slows. Shadows of antennae. Hundreds of pairs dancing, twitching antennae. Exaggerated in both shape and apparent movement against the wall behind the pipe by the stark directional light of a fucking headlamp LED. It also occurs to me what I've been hearing. That noise, barely audible, the rustling of leaves, etc., that was the sound of all these fucking bugs. What was likely just a few seconds stretched on me felt like forever, and I felt myself snap out of it, and I jumped backwards, only away from this small corner of hell. I'm not okay at this point. I slowly withdraw to regroup. I hate bugs. I locate a big-ass jug of bug defense spray intended for keeping yard bugs out of the house. I locate my brightest flashlights. I prepare for battle. I prepare for war. Steeled for what I have to do, I head back down and reevaluate the situation. Okay, they weren't really hundreds of pairs of antennae, just a few dozen. The bugs were clearly just hiding on the back dark side of the pipe because I invaded their space with my LED light. Realistically, how many can fit back there? And they weren't that big, maybe an inch or 1.5 inches long or so. I could do this. The bug spray is just a hand sanitizer attached to a gallon or so jug. A hand sprayer attached to a gallon or so jug. I tentatively give it a squeeze aimed in the general direction of the back of the pipe. I still need to wrestle this thing in place, so I'm hoping to scatter these few dozen bugs that I may continue the repair. I'm still not prepared, clearly, but I had no fucking clue. So anyway, I spray a single shot tentatively. Fucking apocalypse. With a few thousand lumens of light on this pipe now, the bugs with nowhere to go or hide, and some assholes spraying irritating chemical at them, they erupt from behind the pipe. They start dropping down to the floor. The rustling, which was barely audible now, is now frantic, and my fear response is lighting up. As I start squeezing the spray trigger with more urgency, I only have one thought. What have I done? I could have, and should have, walked away, gotten someone stronger to deal with this. Hired someone qualified, but no. There I am, spraying the shit out of these bugs with something that can only barely seem to be killing them slowly. Then I see it. As I work my way around the side of the pipe, with all the extra light I've brought, from a different angle I can see that from the pipe had developed a large gaping crack, running almost the entire length of the pipe. It's wide enough to fit a hand, flat, through it. I'm not simply fighting a few dozen bugs hanging out the backside of my pipe. I just declared war on an unholy army direct from the NYC sewer system roach beasts. So I sprayed a few shots directly into the hole. So hey, remember that scene from The Mummy with Brendan Fraser where the scarabs swarmed in an ocean like waves and devoured people? This is kind of like that. The previous response I had triggered was a very puny apocalypse. Very tiny indeed. Bugs, nay, angry roach beasts from the 7th layer of hell are spewing out from the inside of this pipe at this point. They're forcefully ejecting themselves from the sewer main pipe. And due to the inconvenience of being cramped quarters with nowhere to go, they're fucking surrounding me, under me, on me. I'm spraying and stomping and spraying and stomping. I'm sweating like crazy. I hear my own heartbeat in my ears. My fight or flight response is at full throttle. I may have been screaming. I can imagine some combination of terror screams and war cries. I was alone, so this was completely unverified, but let's just assume I was screaming and spraying and stomping, not necessarily in that order. My forearms are now burning from squeezing this damn trigger by now, and switching hands as I get tired. My breathing is heavy and I'm wearing down. So, remember Game of Thrones? The epic scene at the wall a few seasons back, the war drums, the bloody horn, when the wildlings brought their giants and woolly fucking mammoths? Yep. So my bare effect of poison juice that I've been spraying in and around the pipe must have worked its way down to an as-yet unknown layer of the netherworld, which brought forth the giants desperately trying to escape that pipe of mild discomfort. Now, my friends from down south tell me that a 2.5, maybe 3-inch palmetto bug is fucking normal. But not to this city boy, they aren't. Watching these things emerge from a pipe as you're fighting a war to save humanity itself is pretty damn demoralizing. I'm ready to give up. Let them take me. I imagine myself being slowly devoured by these giant bug beasts. At this point, that my logical brain takes over from my emotional one. I start grabbing newspaper, rags, and anything else I can find and start stuffing it in the crack. I stem the tide of bugs coming out of the pipe and concentrate on the ones that are now wandering around aimlessly, slowly across the floor. More stomping and spraying, but less screaming. The spray was working, eventually. It wasn't strong enough to kill instantly, but it did kill. This will become the source of regret, and I'll explain in a moment. With the adrenaline rush gone... oh, fuck. And dying roaches carpeting the basement, I finally have enough presence of mind to ask myself, what the hell am I even doing? I grab some duct tape, a big piece of cardboard, and I hastily start taping it around the pipe of the crack of the pipe. I pour the remaining part of the gallon directly into the pipe, closing it all up, and go upstairs. Didn't talk for the rest of the night. My wife, when she came home, knew something was wrong, but didn't prod me too much and just let me be. I was rattled beyond measure. Just typing this out made my skin crawl all over again. She laughed the hardest she has in a long time when I told her the story the next day, but I wasn't totally okay for a day or two. Okay. So fast forward a little. The gift keeps on giving. Seems like this product is a slow, long-lasting killer. 4 days out now, I'm still finding dead or dying roaches. I clean them up, I come back later and find more. Repeat. The rate is slowing down. Instead of a couple dozen roaches every few hours, we're down to about 6 to 8 emerging overnight. Haven't called anyone to replace the main yet, because now I see the severity of crack. It changes the way I'll need to approach it. I have to open up some walls upstairs, and I'm betting the entire stack has to be replaced roof to basement. I've decided instead to enjoy my long 4th of July weekend and mentally recover from the hell I experienced. Too long didn't read. Started what I thought would be a basic project in the old house. Ended up fighting a horde of giant roaches from an open sewer system.
Sweet Christ.
So, you tired of me sending you fucking stories about fucking roaches?
Well, like I said, I didn't hear it until today, and what in the world makes you think it's appropriate to start this video with a 12-minute story from the internet?
I don't know, I just felt like it'd be a fun way for us to start the day.
You mean in the day. Goodbye, everybody.
We're not done yet. We still got a couple
We've
minutes.
got 3 minutes. Hey, guess what?
It's not goodbye. You get an extra 3-minute bonus session. So yeah, I'm just glad I've never had to deal with anything like that. Also, that's new.
What's new?
No,
No, it's not.
Mm-hmm. No, it's new to me.
Well,
No, clearly I don't pay
probably
attention.
because, you've been reading a goddamn roach story for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I read that the other day, and I was like, "Oh, Scotty would hate this."
But no, like we started this by you mentioning I showed you the thing about the radishes on ClickHole.
Uh-huh.
Boy, just about everything they put up is pure gold. You need to, and I'll full credit to them for this, but just on YouTube, go either type in ClickHole or type in these people describe their experience of the Kennedy assassination.
What in the fuck are you talking about?
It's just like with the radishes.
Keep going.
Just
I don't
like
know where the fuck you're going.
I'm
You gotta
going-
go up that
I'm going
stairs
down
right
here.
there.
Hold on, I'm
Look
just
up.
looking around.
Just go up and turn the fuck behind you. There you go.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's a climby climb.
I was just checking around. So there's a hidden passage back to what I think is a whole nother health bar.
Oh.
But yeah, so it's just these people sitting in a room in front of a camera, and they're like, "I was there that day. He was driving by and waving, just the most friendliest man you could ever believe. Then this man in a trench coat, holding about 30 or 40 hot dogs, he was just kind of out of place." People would ask him, like, "Sir, what are you doing?" And he says, "I brought these from home." When the gun went off and his head exploded, the man, he dropped his hot dogs. He looked around. He said, "That bullet was meant for me."
Holy fucking shit! That bullet was meant for me. I brought these from home.
There's this one video. This kid, he comes out as gay to his dad, and his mom knows, his friends know, everybody knows except his dad. He's just worried about how he's going to handle it. So he tells his dad, and his dad goes, "I just want you to be happy. It doesn't really matter." And that was all his dad said. Just old. The rest of the video is fucking. It's 12 minutes of him eating tacos.
What is going on the fucking internet?
This kid comes out to his dad, and then his dad accepts him and eats 12 tacos on camera. And while his son just fucking sits there and watches.
That's fucking weird, man.
It's really weird.
And this is how you decapitate a demon angel.
You remember Heaven is for Real? That thing, the kid, like, there was a book that they turned into a movie about this kid who died for like 5 minutes legally and came back and described heaven.
Mm-hmm.
It's something like that, but he says the whole time he was in heaven, Jesus just lifted weights. Jesus' arms were so big that people couldn't walk around in heaven. They were like, "Did you meet God, Timmy?" He's like, "Yeah, I met God, but God was small compared to Jesus' arms."
We'll pick this
Fuck,
up here in the
okay,
next
yeah.
episode. Thank you all for watching.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If
Are you doing an ad read?
Yes.
Are you telling them about us?
I'm working on it.
Have you said to subscribe yet?
Subscribe. I'm doing it now.
Tell them to subscribe.
Subscribe.
Okay.
Check out our Facebook and our Twitter.
I like that.
Thank you.
We post stuff sometimes there.
Sometimes we post funny content.
We do.
You told me to do this alone.
I'm trying to help.
They can hear you.
No, they can't.
Oh my god.
Well, fix it in post.
Oscar!
Oscar can't help you now!